My name is Shane Bill. Liu Qingqing is my decimate. From the first day of school, he seemed out of face with the ceramics. Always wearing a wash and white old school uniform. The neckline is highly buckled to the top. A black hair that never let go of his shoulders, even if it was left, fall down. He covered most of his face. Only occasionally showed a pointed chin. He spoke in a very soft voice, as fine as mosquitoes say, as if afraid about letting Sunday. Thinking back now, at that time, he was more like a lamb that accidentally strayed into a wolf, silent and timid. The boys in the class often talked about him behind his back. The leader is called Zhao Ming. As the principal's nephew, he came from a wealthy family. I'm used to it on weekdays. He threatened to bump into Liu Qingqing in the corridor. When I touched her, I felt that her waist was unusually soft, cold and creamy like boneless. I'm afraid it was a snake. Zhao Ming slapped the table and smiled. Have you ever seen her sweat? It's always cold. Maybe the skin will really peel off at night. The birds plunged into the air like fine needles. I sat next to her. You can clearly see her shoulders trembling slightly. Fingers draining the corners of the page. I used so much force that my nails lost their blood color. There was an unspeakable discomfort in my heart. But in the end, he didn't make a sound. That was me. He was just an ordinary student who was afraid of provoking trouble. School bullying is often wrapped in a frolicking sugarcoating, and the silence of spectators has precisely become the nourishment of its most fertile bed. That day, Zhao Ming threw a glass of ice water directly at Liu Qingqing. School uniforms are soaked in the niece. Close to her. A thin outline was vaguely outlined. Liu Qingqing suddenly stood up and wanted to hide. Zhao Ming grabbed his wrist. Come on, let's see. Do you have scales on your hands? His knuckles are strong. The end of his painful eyes was red, but biting his lip, you refused to let a single drop of tears fall. I can't watch it. Get up and push Zhao Ming away. Almost done. Zhao Ming was stunned for a moment. Then he pulled the corners of his mouth and laughed at Qian Biao. You stand up for the snake demon. Why are you also curious that she is cold and slippery? A burst of laughter suddenly exploded around. Liu Qingqing's entire face instantly faded from blood. She jerked her hand back. You rushed out of the classroom without looking back. That afternoon, I saw her by the flower bed in the corner of the playground. She crouched there, quietly feeding a stray cat. The sun sent her really exposed side face, low eyelashes, like a butterfly winged at a slouch, trembling with breath. Be aware of my footsteps. He hurriedly lowered his head. His voice was soft. Thank you. And I said nothing. He only took out a cardinal meal from his pocket and handed it over. He hesitated for a moment to reach out and take it. The moment your fingertips touched, there was a clear chill. It feels like touching the window pane of a winter morning. It was the first time I was that close to him. Except for the lingering coolness. I also smelled the thin whistle jasmine on him. Clean and soft. As if it had nothing to do with all the noise and malice in the swirl. Since then, Liu Qingqing would occasionally take the initiative to talk to me. Most of the time, he would ask me questions from the textbooks. The voice was still firm, as if afraid of disturbing something. I know she's not a snake demon, just chill, timid, too lonely. There was always an old photo album in her school bag. Inside was a photo of her and the grandmother. She told me, that's her grandmother. She is the only person in the world who loves her. But later, he stopped mentioning his grandmother. There is an actual black and white photo in the album. Every time he looked down, his eyes are always covered with a layer of fog. Until much later, I just heard his grandmother laugh in the winter of a second-year junior high school. Son cerebral hemorrhage in the snow at the market. When they found out, they had lost their breath. Thinking back, now, from that day on, he really became an orphan, with the meager subsistence allowance and school relief. A person struggles to continue school. The feeling of having no one behind you. Although I never really realized it. But I could see clearly in his eyes of always dodging. The cruelty of fate. Sometimes it comes in the most treacherous ways. After 3 months of lunch break, a piercing scream suddenly came from the women's toilet. I rushed through the crowd, squeezed in the cubicle door. I saw Liu Qingqing curled up on the cold tile floor, holding a blue and white egg tightly in his arms, about the size of a fist. The surface is covered with transparent milk, still slightly undulating. It was as if something was wriggling in it. The hem of her school uniform was torn. Several pieces of cyan-bad scales could be vaguely seen on the bare calf. Under the pale light, there was a cold and hard lesson, and she looked up at me. There are no tears in my eyes. There is only a dead darkness, like burnt coals. Don't tell anyone, she whispered. There was no temperature in the south. I froze in place. I don't know whether to agree or what to say. But the news has long flown across the campus like winds. First class in the afternoon, the whole school was buzzing about the terrifying rumors of snake laying eggs. Zhao Ming blocked the classroom door with a few boys, slamming the door hard. He roared at Liu Qingqing, hand over the snake egg, or we'll smash everything you have. Liu Qingqing lay motionless on the table. Until the school bell rings, she stood up slowly, holding the egg. He walked step by step towards the rooftop of a teaching building. My heart skipped a beat, subconsciously following her. I wanted to persuade her, but she never looked back. The sunset was particularly red that day. The shadow of the teaching building shone very long. Her figure flickered in the stairwell, like a leaf that can be blown away by the wind at any time. I watched him walk up step by step. My heart feels like it's locked by something. The words I want to say are stuck in my throat. I couldn't spit out a word. The siren of fire engine pierced the stillness of the dusk. I was lying on the windowsill of the sixth floor, looking at him standing on the edge of the rooftop. The wind blew his hair all over the sky. The snake in his arms glowed eerily in the setting sun. 等一尝不到，已 fallen to the rose bushes downstairs. Blood's gained the pale red. The snake was also broken in half. The contents are mixed with mucus and phloem. Disgusting. My legs went limp with fear. My mind went blank. I just feel empty in my heart, like something important is missing. Body its retribution. I just didn't expect it to come so quickly. So weird. The next morning, Zhao Ming suddenly scratched his face frantically in his morning reading class. Fingernails ran across the skin, make a shrill sound. He raised his hand. He actually tore off a piece of cyan bad scales. The scales fell on the desk. It drew a strong smell of dead snakes. The people around him covered their noses. Those who once laughed at Liu Qingqing, the boy who brought her and splashed her water. Scales began to grow on the body. Some grow on the face. Some grow on the arm. The scales are hard and slippery. It also smelled fishy. They scratched their hearts and livers, rubbing on the desk, grinding blood beads on the wall. Stained textbooks and walls bar everywhere. The fishy smell in the classroom is getting heavier and heavier. Breathless. I looked at them in pain. There is no sympathy in my heart. Instead, I felt relief. I remembered how Liu Qingqing looked when she was bullied by them. Remembering the moment she jumped off the rooftop. This is probably the so-called causal cycle. My mother is still lying in the hospital. Uremia requires long-term dialysis. The daily medical expenses are like a mountain. I couldn't breathe under the pressure. Just when I was borrowing money around to no avail, Zhao Ming's father found me, said that as long as I got a shot to Liu Qingqing, just give me $3,000. This is enough money for my mother to stay in the hospital for half a month. She can also buy the important medicine she urgently needs. I hesitated for a long time. Calling out to the soul sounds creepy, but when I think of my mother in the hospital bed, I still agree. That afternoon, I went to a hospital to see my mother. She was lying in the hospital bed, pale face. Seeing the old wounds left by Zhao Ming's bullying on my face, I couldn't stop crying. Asked me if I'd been bullied again. I smiled and said it just felt isolated. Put the 500 yuan deposit given by Zhao Ming in her hands. He said he had found a part-time job. You don't have to worry about medical expenses anymore. Mom touched my face. He repeatedly told me to take care of myself. I keep my head down. I dare not look into her eyes. I'm afraid she'll see my lies. At that moment, I felt particularly hopeless. He would do anything for me. That night, Zhao Ming called me to his house. His home is richly decorated, but there was a fake fishy smell in the air, mixed with tobacco and alcohol flavors. Zhao Ming sat on the sofa, cigarette in hand, 4 bounces directly on the ground. Most of his face was covered in snake scales. Only one eye was left exposed. It looked hideous and scary. $1,000 down payment. He threw a wad of bills in my face. Banknotes are scattered all over the place. Call back, and the remaining 2,000 will be given to you. Can't shout back. Just add a few more scars to your face. I kept my head down, afraid to look at him. He suddenly reached out and grabbed my hair. He forced my face out. The cigarette butt in my hand was directly pressed against my left face. The sizzling sound was accompanied by a piercing pain. I felt like my skin was burned. Tears welled up in an instant. Well, I bit my lips and swallowed it back. I know that as long as I cry out loud, only in exchange for more cool treatment, he let go of my hair. 是 the ashes on my scars. Remember, go to school and make a shout. Go where he usually says. Classrooms, flower beds, rooftop, all shout again. If you dare to play tricks, don't even think about Anshan when your mother is in the hospital. I got on my knees, piece by piece, picking out the money stained with and smell. The fingers trembled with force. Thank you, me. I whispered. His voice was full of humiliation. When he walked out of Zhao Ming's house, the night is getting late. The scar on his face wasn't burning. The banknotes in my hand are heavy. I couldn't breathe under her. I went to a flower bed in the corner of the playground again. He used a feed to catch here. The roses are blooming in full bloom, but the petals were stained with dark red blood. He was left behind when he fell from a height. A few stray cats crouched in the distance, hunchback and dared his teeth at me with fierce eyes, as if guarding something inviolable. Liu Qingqing, go home. I shouted again. It's a little louder than before. Suddenly, a cold wind swept back. The leaves of grass and the flower bed tremble. The cat started into the fake flowers. Never came out again. My heart typed, sagging back subconsciously. I kicked something under my feet. Looked down. It's half a loaf of bread that's already dry. It should be from the last time you didn't finish feeding. At that moment, I seemed to see him squatting there, standing slightly. Reach out and break the bread. The sun gently fell on his drooping eyelashes, and there was a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. That was the only time I can remember when he didn't seem so lonely. The nose suddenly became sore. I suddenly felt very sad. I'm also sorry for him. If those boys bullied him back then, I could be braver, step outside a little bit. Would he not have come this far? And then the rooftop. The stairwell leading to the rooftop was pitch black. There is no light. I hold the phone the light. Step by step up. Footsteps echoed in the stairwell. It appears particularly clear. Go to the rooftop door. The door was open. The wind comes in from outside. It sent chills all over me. The rooftop was empty. Only the railing stood there alone. There was a long black hair hanging from the railing. It should have fallen when Liu Qingqing jumped down. I walked over to the fence. 有楼表. The flower bed downstairs looked like a black shadow in the moonlight. Liu Qingqing has gone home. I called out to the night sky. The voice was filled with tears. I remember what he once told me. After my grandmother passed away, he often came to the rooftop alone to watch the stars. The stars are my grandmother's eyes. I will always be with him. Now, think about how lonely he must have been back then. There was no one to talk to. You can only talk to the stars. Just then, there was a sudden chill in the back of my neck. There was something cold stuck on it. I turned my head stiffly. Saw a green snake thick as a forearm hanging from the railing. The tip of my tail rested on my shoulder. Cold scales rubbed against my collar with a fishy smell. I was so scared that I went numb. He didn't dare to move. Then, the overcast wind blew. The moon emerged from behind the clouds, illuminated the entire rooftop. I just found out there were snakes all over the rooftop, on the railings, on the ground, in the corners. Thousands of green, black, and flowers. These big, bifurcated layers make a hissing sound. Come slowly around me. Their scales reflect the moonlight, like a layer of cold silver frost. The green snake on my shoulder slowly raised its head. The tongue is in front of my face. A pair of golden eyes stared fixedly at me. From time to time, the snake letter would come out and nip my cheek. The cold touch made me stiff. I wanted to shout, but I couldn't make a sound. He wanted to run, but his legs were as heavy as lead. The snake swarm in front of me is getting closer and closer. Their fishy smell is getting stronger and stronger. There was only one thought in my mind. I'm going to die here. And then finally, it went dark. He fainted straight away. I don't know how long I was out. When I woke up, it was already dawn. I lay on the rooftop floor. His body was covered with dew. It was cold and wet. The snakes are gone. As if everything last night was my hallucination. Only the smell on my shoulders reminded me it wasn't a dream. I struggled to get up, just got to the top of the stairs. I received a call from Zhao Ming. There was a fury in his voice. Jin Biao, what the hell did you do? Liu Qingqing's body was only half prepared. The upper body is human. The lower body is a snake tail. My heart sighed. He hurriedly rushed to Zhao Ming's house. Liu Qingqing's body was placed in his living room. It was covered with a white cloth. Leave the white cloth. I saw that her upper body had recovered. Pale skin. Lips are purple. It was no different from when she was alive. It can be from the waist down. It was a turquoise snake tail. The scales are fine, with white mucus. It looked eerie and scary. The master sat aside. His face was as ugly as the bottom of a pot, holding a mahogany sword in his hand. His eyebrows twisted into a pimple. Did you not chow well last night? He looked at me. Sharp eyes. His soul is only half, so the corpse was only half prepared. Now he was half demon, half ghost. Resemblance is more important. He so wait for his soul to fully return to its place. Cultivate Taoism. None of us can survive. Zhao Ming was so angry that he rushed out to me and slapped me in the face. My face was instantly swollen and bloodshot from the corners of my mouth. The scar on his face was shattered and blood would mix with hairs. You rubbish. Xiao Ming yells at me to give you money. And you just do it like that. I bowed my head and dared not retort. The master stopped Xiao Ming. Look at me, fall free. What the hell happened to you last night, to be honest? I'm too scared to tell the truth. Baby more scared if they knew there were snakes. I'm afraid they'll take their anger on me. I went to the classroom, the flower bed in the rooftop, and called her name. But when I walked to the rooftop, there was a sudden strong wind and I was a little scared. I just want to come down early. Maybe not shouting seriously. I made up a lie and my voice faltered. The master stared at me for a long time. I slowly opened my mouth. Are you a virgin? I was stunned for a moment and nodded with a red face. The master's eyes suddenly lit up. The virgin body of the sun can just suppress her yanti. You go to her way tonight. No matter how much she seduces you or seduces you, you can't have sex with her. As long as you get through tonight and wait until the ritual is over tomorrow, Every single I was so resistant that I had to wake a corpse that was half human, half I had to face her. Seduction, this so scary. 我跟他交明血赛戏 He thought of his mother who was annoyed and need I can only promise him. At night, I stood guard in the morning hall according to the messages. The morning hall is located in the living room of Liu Qingqing's body lying in the coffin. The lid of the coffin is now fully nailed, leaving the flame of the candle is beating. Draw the shadow of the coffin long and reflected on the wall like a twisted snake. The strange smell of incense and corpses filled the air. Disgusting. Not long after, Shamin came with a few best friends. They had snake scales. Some of them covered with masks, some are blocked with hats. What they still can't cover the thick fishes. I hate the snake or who people are. Let's eat Shamin smile while drinking a bottle of wine in his hand. Anyway, we have the talisman given by the master on us. She turning into a bar, laughing and drinking and dancing. 世界别是个最让弄的果让，安桑唯一份最让弄Liu Qingqing。爱看子弹战，看毛板子打扮，Don't be so disrespectful. Whatever you are，太开日巴斯。A boy named 对雷破师妹。I staggered back a few steps and hit the table behind me. The incense burned on the offering table fell to the ground and came by. Incense ashes was scattered all over the ground. 有我自丢必有死吧。挥舞超指引语。I saw what they were doing, and I was filled with anger and powerlessness. Why they so reckless after doing so many bad things? Why was Liu Qingqing bullied by them when she was alive? The bells of the hour are ringing in a low voice in the silence. There was a sudden burst from the coffin, creaking sound like sharp fingernails, scratching the coffin repeatedly, and the sound grew louder and louder and louder. It gripped the hearts of everyone present. Squeak! The lid of the coffin was slowly pushed open from the inside to a wider gap. Then Liu Qingqing leaned out at the coffin. She was wearing the same plain white dress she had been buried in. The skin is lifeless paper white, but the lips are dazzling red. The long black hair falls like a waterfall to the shoulders, and from the waist down, in its place was a bluish-black, scaly snake tail. Cold in the green candlelight, it makes a small, eerie rustling sound as it moves. She's more beautiful than she was before, but also weirder when those eyes human. With a faint red light look straight at me, with a hint of unspeakable complexity. I was so scared that I immediately closed my eyes tightly and clenched my hands into fists. I desperately repeat the master's warning in my heart. Never look at it. Never be deceived by it. Kinbo, her voice fluttered softly and softly, sucked in bone-piercing coolness, scratching my ears like a feather. Open your eyes and look at me. The cold scales of the snake's tail swept across my ankles, causing a shudder. Then a pair of soft hands gently placed on my shoulder. Familiar. The faint scent of jasmine lingered, and it was her favorite shampoo before she died. She said that the smell of water was bought for her by her grandmother, and she has always cherished it. I could feel her hand gently on my shoulder, slide slowly onto my back with a gentle force, with a strange temptation. Her body was so close I could smell her scent. I heard her breathing softly, feel the cold of her snake tail and the creaminess of her scales. My heart was beating so fast that my face was burning and my blood was boiling all over my body. I know I can't do this, but my body's instincts make me irresistible. And especially when she ran her hand across the scar on my face. She did it so softly, like soothing and like seducing. Do you remember? Her voice whispered in my ear that you once helped me pick up a pen. You also gave me the milk in this class, only you have never bullied me. My heart jerked and I opened my eyes. And she was so close to my face. She had long lashes, and the red light was fading from her eyes with a touch of grievance and sadness. Why are they doing this to me? She asked softly with a cry in her voice. I have never hurt anyone. I just want to study hard, make money early, and find my mother. I looked into her eyes and felt guilty. I didn't bully her, but I didn't really help her. Every time I see her blocked in the corridor by Xiaoming and the others, I just hide silently, dare not come forward. Just when I was stunned, Xiaoming and the others suddenly rushed up. They have long been killed by Liu beauty, and the lure overwhelmed my mind. Forget the master's warning. I also forgot the pain caused by the snake scales on my body. Such a beautiful snake demon. Let's have fun today. Xiaoming roared and hugged Liu Qingqing's waist. A few other people also came ripping Liu Qingqing's clothes, hit her up and down. Liu Qingqing's eyes changed instantly. The grievance and sadness just now disappeared. Instead, it spawned chilling coldness and hatred. His snake tail jerked, dumped Xiaoming and the others and hit the wall with a banging sound. The talismans on the wall are fallen, and none thing. His voice was freezing cold with a strong killing intent. Would Xiaoming and the others have rushing up again? In the chaos, their talismans fell to the ground, ignited by the flame of a candle, burning a cyan flame. The moment the talisman burned, Xiaoming and the others let out a mournful scream. The snake scales on his body began to expose the bloody skin below. The skin is red, swollen, it looks like it's been corroded by acid. Chaos in the morning hall. Some people cry and some people laugh. Someone is scratching their body frantically. There was blood everywhere. I wanted to stop it, but Liu Qingqing's snake tail wrapped around his arm. Can't move. I can only watch it all. Watch them pay for their evil deeds. When the sky would light up, Xiaoming and the others finally stopped. Several people collapsed to the ground. The blood-stained snake scales fell off the ground. The appearance is both embarrassing and hateful. They looked into the eyes of the coffin. Only pure fear remains. Don't dare to stay another second. Crawling and crawling, trying to escape. Clean up here. Xiaoming threw a dirty rag at my feet. The voice was shaking out of shape. If there is any link, just wait to be buried with you. Drop this cruel sentence. They stumbled out the door, disappear into the darkest darkness before dawn. The morning hall is dead again. Liu Qingqing has been lying quietly back in the coffin. The plain white dress was torn into rags, mixed with blood and stains. Shocking. She was humiliated while she was alive. There is no moment of peace after death. I knelt by the coffin, pick up the horse claw, start little by little, wipe his body very carefully, with torn clothes, gently moving, like treating a fragile treasure, for fear of hurting him. When he brushed his cold cheek lightly, I heard in a trance, a very light, faint smile came from the ear, like a breeze passing through withered petals. No trace, but with a hint of relief that I was finally liberated. In that instant, I suddenly understood what he wanted to start this bloodbath. Never the pleasure of revenge. He just wanted something he never got in his life. The respect denied after death. A simple peace free from bullying and trampling. Not long after, the master brought Xiaoming here. He carefully examined Liu Qingqing's body. Nothing unusual was found. Asked me what happened last night. Xiaoming kept winking at me, threatened me not to talk too much. I keep my head down. According to what Xiaoming taught me beforehand, he did cheat on the body last night, tried to seduce me, but I kept my eyes closed and ignored him. Then he lay back on his own. The master gave me a deep look, didn't say much, turned around and grabbed the hedgehog from outside. That hedgehog is big. It's bigger than a normal doll. The thorns on his body are all white. Looks weird. This is Baixian. The master respectfully kowtowed to the hedgehog 3 times. With him, he can suppress the demonic aura of the snake girl. After saying that, he put Baixian in the coffin, then covered the coffin with 7 dark red spikes. That nail. Finished the last nail. The master's face was as pale as cold sweat on forehead. He gasped and said that he would carry the coffin up the mountain tonight. Bury him in a mass grave at the top of a mountain. Let him be immortal. The master also said, you can't find a professional coffin bearer to carry this town. Xiaoming must be alive, and his long-term brothers personally carried, so that their sins can be redeemed. And I am full of young qi. You have to carry the paper talisman and walk in front to guide them. I looked at the master's feigned composure. I certainly feel ridiculous. He thought that with a white fairy and a few iron nails trap Liu Qingqing's grievances. He didn't know that some grievances are etched in the bones. It's all the bullying and hurt I suffered in those years, bit by bit piled up. It cannot be suppressed by external forces. The time will come soon. Xiaoming and his 7 brothers are all here. A lot of snake scales have grown on their bodies. Some even spread to the neck. It looked even more menacing. Every one of them was pale, eyes full of fear. Due to the danger of the master and the fear of death, will bite the bullet and come to the morning hall. 8 big men each grab the foot of the coffin, lift up hard. But the coffin is as motionless as a root. They were so red, veins bulge, all my strength. The coffin still hasn't moved at all. Instead, it makes a humming sound, like something is crashing inside. How come? Xiaoming shouted angrily. Why is this coffin so heavy? The master's expression changed instantly. He stepped forward quickly to examine the coffin carefully. That's impossible. There is Baixian. His demonic energy should be suppressed. He was mumbling something to his index finger. A blood symbol was drawn on the coffin. Bright red blood beads slowly flowed down the crack of the coffin into those 7 spikes. But the coffin is not only silent. It vibrated even more, like it could explode at any moment. The master's face is getting uglier and uglier. He frowned and said something was wrong. It's not haunted. It's not too evil. It's your weakness. You were hollowed out by the wine. haunted by the grievances of the snake young girl energy decay, can't even lift the coffin. The master gritted his teeth and made up his mind. Too late to find someone else. I took a few steps up to the coffin, grabbed a kick, shouted in a deep voice. Surprisingly, this gentleman over 50 years old has amazing arm strength. With his participation, the heavy coffin was finally shaken, lifted off the ground, but the vibration of the closed body did not stop. Instead, it became more and more obvious. It seems that Liu Qingqing inside will break through the barrier at any time. 9 people carried the ominous coffin, slowly moved out of Xiaoming's house. I walked ahead with the soul-inducing paper talisman on pale paper. That dark cushion is especially dazzling in the night. The road to the top of the mountain is a narrow path, rugged. Dense woods on both sides. The night wind blows. The leaves rattle. That doesn't sound like the wind. It's like countless lines of sight are spying coldly from the dark. Didn't take a few steps. A green snake sprung out of the roadside forest. Hang Chen held his head high in the heart of the road, blocked the way. His eyes are golden, same as the one I saw on the rooftop. Ignore him and move on. The master growled in a low voice. Bai Xian is in charge. These evil animals dare not really stop me. I lifted my leg and stepped over the snake. The snake did not attack, just still in place. The golden tree boy followed our team to the death, like a silent warning. But it didn't get very far. More snakes began to emerge from the forest. They could be lying on the road, or wrapped around low-hanging branches. To the last side, all over the mountains are wriggling snake shadows, hissing, spitting, into a scalp-tingling tide sound. The thick fishy smell almost froze the air. The entire mountain road has been completely blocked. No place. The coffin must never fall to the ground. The voice of the master is beyond doubt. I stepped on it and had to follow his instructions. Lift your foot into the surging pile of snakes. The touch under my feet is disgusting. Snakes are soft. The scales that cover it are hard and gorgeous. Every step is stuck in a kind of soft and with a wet, cold, and sticky wrapping feeling, enough to make the hair on the whole body stand on end. The snake swarm wriggled violently under my stampede. The cold snake ladder sweeps the calf and instead stirs up chills. I fought back against the churning stomach and the fear that goes deep into the bone marrow. A mechanical forward movement. There's only one thought left in my head. Hurry up and soon. This mountain road only takes half an hour on weekdays. The day seemed endless. Where did Xiaoming and the others experience such torture? I have already cried my father and mother. The coffin nearly slipped off the shoulders several times. I can't take it anymore. I won't lift it. I want to go home. A boy has a complete breakdown. Trying to let go. You dare to let go. The master shouted sharply. The coffin is now on the ground. Liu Qingqing's grievances. It will all haunt you. Let you live for the rest of your life? The boy turned pale at this. The cry that reached his mouth choked forcibly. I can only grit my teeth and pick up the bar again. Tears and cold sweat mingle, rolling down his twisted face. I don't care about their cries. Just bury your head and rush Suddenly forward. A few pieces of white debris fell from his shoulders. I just hit. My heart sank suddenly. That touch is not paper money. It's a cold, hard snake scale. I looked up in amazement. I saw Xiaoming's 7 brothers scratching his body like crazy. Their faces, arms, torsos, at the speed visible to the naked Crazy breed's densely packed white snake scale covers most of the skin. Unbearable itching made them completely lose their minds. They were scratching like crazy. Scales and skins every time. Tear off a piece of bloody flesh. But they don't seem to feel pain. Just wailing and wailing, so itchy, so itchy. Hands don't stop until the flesh is blurred. After the scales are torn off, they actually started to tear their own flesh until the flesh is exposed. Senran's is not a human skeleton at all. Those are 7 dark Raiders' blood, the spike that was nailed into Liu Qingqing worn by the master himself. Hey, it finally doesn't itch anymore. As the last person uttered a murmur of relief, fall to the ground, all scratching stopped abruptly. Just as he died, thump. Liu Qingqing's coffin fell heavily to the ground. The lid of the coffin was shaken open. A meatball rolled out of it. It was the white immortal hedgehog that was invited to the coffin by now all the spikes on his body have come off. The naked body is exposed and curled up like a skinned baby. He convulsed violently on the ground, let out a sharp and mournful sound, the whining of a baby. And then he stopped moving. Bai Xian's last cry dissipated. The mountains fell into a suffocating silence. Then a cold, unrelieved whistle from the coffin lazily, through the frozen night sky, with a bone-chilling chill. Master Wang's voice sounded clearly. You think stealing my mother's white fairy will calm me down? The master heard the voice and his face staggered back a few steps. The voice was distorted with extreme terror. How do you know? You can't possibly know. His voice has not yet fallen. A herd of snakes waiting all over the mountains. As if receiving a silent order, sudden explosion turned into a black and blue wave that rushed towards him. In the blink of an eye he was covered, cascading snakes wrapped in etchai. He struggled in vain. The snake body is getting tighter and stronger as bones rattled. Only miserable screams were squeezed out of the pile of snakes. I looked in amazement. I saw Liu Qingqing slowly sitting up from the coffin. Snake-tail innocence. The scales flow cold blue in the moonlight. The scars on the previous body have disappeared without a trace. He's a monster right now. Like a vengeful artifact returned from the underworld. At the same time, the herd of snakes of the master of entanglement, the Taoist robe on his body shattered in response. Between the exposed waist covered with layers of snake scales. Same was the lighting on them, but thicker and darker. Like an inborn curse. 3 years ago, Liu Qingqing's voice was cold and piercing with hatred. You broke into my house, steal the white fairy that my mother worshipped. She is a witch who harms the village, instigating the villagers to sink her into the river. You took black money from Xiaoming's family, helped them cover up the truth that killed me. Now I still want to use my mother's white fairy to blow my soul away. You think no one knows? His snake tail suddenly tightened. The sound is as cold as poison. Too bad you forgot. Snakes have the best sense of smell. The great in you, dirty smell. I remember it clearly until I die. So this is no accident. Liu Qingqing's mother is also a snake girl. But she never hurt anyone. Just rely on raising snakes. Let the village harvest every year. But the master covets the spiritual power of the white fairy. The money of the Xiaoming family. Framed Liu Qingqing's mother as a witch, instigating the villagers to sink her in the river. Liu Qingqing was only 10 years old at that time. Growing up with my grandmother, he became an orphan after his grandmother died. You can only go to school with government subsidies. Unexpectedly, I still couldn't escape Xiaoming's bullying. Xiaoming not only bullied her and forced her to get pregnant with that snake. Now think about that. Her life has been so hard. She has been wearing the label snake girl since birth, being ostracized and bullied. Even the only relatives left one after another. It can only end in such a tragic way. Xiaoming was scared to death, kneeling on the ground with a plop. Qingqing, I was wrong. I shouldn't have bullied you. I shouldn't have done those bad things. Please forgive me. I will never dare again. Liu Qingqing sneered. The snake's tail swung wrapped around Xiaoming's neck. When you bullied me, why didn't I think it would be today? There was no warmth in his voice. You locked me in the equipment room, like your brother take turns humiliating me. You put the snake in my school bag. I couldn't sleep all night. You drew snakes in my bowl, spread my rumors behind my back. You forced me to get pregnant with that egg. And in the end, there was a hint of choking in his voice. The hatred in his eyes grew stronger. Xiaoming's face flushed red. Breathing difficulty. He struggled desperately. But Liu Qingqing's snake tail is getting tighter and finally, his body fell limply. Eyes wide open, full of fear and unwillingness, Liu Qingqing loosens the snake's tail. Xiaoming's body fell to the ground. Soon he was dragged into the woods by the snake. Disappear. He finally turned around and looked at me. The snake's tail brushed the back of my head. Those cold scales. At this moment, there is a faint warmth. Qin bows for softened. Fade all resentment and coldness. Thank you for shouting for me. Thank you for treating me so carefully last night. He paused, eyes like water. Thank you. You never hurt me with them from start to finish. The sky is getting brighter. The first ray of morning light pierces the forest on the winding mountain road to spell the chill of the long night and the thick, indissoluble fishy smell. Liu Qingqing's figure, he becomes transparent, and then in the light, he held the silent white fairy in his arms, like holding a sleeping baby. He just fades away in this clear morning light, until there is no trace. The herds of snakes all over the mountains also quietly retreated as if it never appeared. The depths of the forest. Only the 7 dark red spikes were left on the mountain road, deep into the soil, like 7 sunken epitaphs. The fishy smell in the wind has dissipated. Instead of, it's a faint but incomparably clear scent of jasmine. It was the smell of his favorite shampoo. I stood there alone looking into the distance where he disappeared, an empty noise in my heart. There is a relief that things are finally over. The guilt of not doing something sooner. There is still a trace, a long sorrow that even I can't express. Finally, he is released. And those who have inflicted pain on them, they all paid the price they deserve. And then school started. No one mentioned Liu Qingqing again. No one mentioned Xiaoming and the others again. Xiaoming's family's business plummeted because of their sons. Finally went bankrupt. The body of the master was found a few days later, covered with snake bites. Miserable death. I know some wounds will never heal. Some sins must be paid for. Liu Qingqing finally found his own way, received justice that belonged to her. I finally understand. Kindness is never weakness, and evil will be punished. like those snakes all over the mountain. Looks cold and scary, but they are only protecting the people they want to protect. Days go by. I grow up. The scars on my face are gradually fading, but that memory will forever be etched in my heart. He reminds me to be more kind and tolerant to the world. Don't be unique because of others. Go on and help them. Because you never know. One of your jokes is a bully. How much harm will it cause to others? It could even change their lives.